GreenRoc Strategic Materials is focused on the development of critical mineral projects in Greenland. It has submitted its application for an exploitation license for the Amitsoq graphite project in South Greenland, and the Chief Executive, Stefan Bernstein, presented Amitsoq to the EU Business Commission to Greenland. He joins us now. So, Stefan, I'm not sure what's more nerve-wracking, presenting to investors or the EU Commission, but I'll come to that. But first, the exploitation licence. So is the Greenland government nimble? Will they sign it off quickly so it gets to public consultation stage before the end of the year?
Well, Sarah, I think they certainly have the ambitions to do so. The Mining Act is quite new. It was implemented just of January 1st this year. So, of course, there's some new procedures that they have to work in. But it shows us the strong political will to shorten the processing time. So I guess that's the whole idea behind the law change. So I think they will do their best to get it out in public consultation, which is 35 days. So hopefully it can all be done before Christmas, so we can get the impressions back and start working with that.
Stefan, talk to me about the public who will be reviewing your project. Have townhouses or meetings with locals already occurred? You know, what obstacles might surface, and have you anticipated any potential grievances?
Well, there might be some things coming up, of course. I've now participated in a series of informal information meetings that I've been holding over the past couple of years. The last one was here earlier in September, not long ago, arranged by the South Greenland Commune and the Greenland Ministry of Mineral Resources. And we went to the nearby town of Nordalig, which is very close to the Amitsoq mine, and then also two other towns in the neighborhood, GROC and Amitsoq. And I would say that there's a real deep interest in our project. People see it as job opportunities and general activities coming back to their towns, and also it's part of Greenland that is quite some distance from the capital Nuuk, which is a very busy town. So they're down in South Greenland, by 500-600 kilometers away. I don't think they feel forgotten about, but certainly there's less activity there. So, so interest and excitement, I would almost say. I haven't met any real reservations, but of course it's important that we understand all the potential worries and we can square out any misunderstandings there may be. So I'm really looking forward to this consultation. Okay.
All being well, exploitation license granted, public approval given. So when might construction start? I know I ask you this every time. I'm still also having the same answer, namely 2028, provided, of course, that the capital that we need is being made available along the way. Okay. Now to the presentation that you were invited to give. What were the highlights from your experience with the EU Business Mission to Greenland?
Yes, so very exciting, this business mission. And let me just first describe what happened there. So it was attended by quite important high-level representatives from the EU institutions. The director of DG GROC, Joaquim de Almeida, was there. There were also two representatives from the European Investment Bank. There's the director of the European Raw Materials Alliance. The conference was also attended by two ministers from two ministries in Greenland. So, which is important because then the EU representatives could also see the importance that the Greenland government sees this kind of interaction with the EU. So I think in addition to given the opportunity to present our project, I also had some very good discussions with, for instance, these EU representatives, and also gained a bit of insight into how the EU may be able to assist in creating the finance or helping to create the finance for our project with some of them in existing investment tools. And also, I think we had some good discussions about, where these tools may need to be resharpened and perhaps supplemented with new things to make these raw materials happen. In general, I think that was, which was true for a lot of events that I'm attending to now, that there's a huge political focus on these raw materials and the risk of the supply chains that we are currently having. So all in all, it was very positive.
Okay, because it sounds as though the EU representative is gaining a more thorough understanding of how to do business in Greenland. But what financial help for raw materials projects in Greenland are you anticipating might emerge on the back of such a business mission?
Well, I'm hopeful, of course, that, as I said, that some of the existing tools will be twisted a bit so they can be applied to also pre-production projects such as ours. So, of course, it's a bit early to say, but there are new programs also being installed. I'd like to mention that the Deutsche Rohstoff Fund, German raw materials fund, was being announced earlier this week. It's a €1 billion fund that is going to support even relatively early stage, PFS stage raw materials projects that supplies German industry and also EU industry. So that's certainly something we're going to look into. Yeah, there are also other collaboration with more local funding bodies such as the Greenland Venture Fund, NALIC Ventures, and the Danish venture funds and import-export banks and so forth. There's also the European Battery Alliance that is setting up their own fund to support raw materials projects. So so I think there's there's certainly a lot of political will. It's going to take a bit of time before that political will actually has resulted in concrete actions. But I think we see already now some movement in the right direction.
Okay, so my final question is to do with something that I've read in the most recent RNS. And can you explain more about what the Mineral Security Partnership is about and how GreenRoc may benefit from being a Mineral Security Partnership or MSP project?
Yeah, so that's something that we're really excited about. The MSP, the Mineral Security Partnership, is the EU countries and 14 other countries, the US, Canada, UK, Norway, South Korea, Japan, Australia, just to mention a few. And it is a partnership that is set up to provide support, also financial support to diversify the critical raw materials supply chain, particularly for raw materials projects with high ESG credentials, such as ours. And there are now 32 projects defined by the MSP, and Amitsoq, our graphite project, is now one of them. And the finding out how, it's a little bit like with the EU, but they are presently engaged in finding out how they can make instruments to bear on the supporting these projects. And there's a lot of things happening at the moment. I can mention that just a few days ago, the Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with the Norwegian Foreign Minister Espen Eide, and they signed together a memorandum of collaboration of trade of critical materials. And as you may know, we are setting up our anode processing plant in Norway. So we are becoming a known project under the MSP.
Wonderful. Stefan Bernstein, Chief Executive of GreenRoc Strategic Materials, thank you very much indeed.